Good evening. Welcome to the EMO Committee. It is 6:05 and I will call the meeting to order. So on your agenda there was the review of the committee report, and I don't know, did you guys get my email this afternoon? You probably didn't have really time to review it or whatever. It's fine, I just gave them to you so that you can look at all the new additions and stuff. So I'll just read the committee report from July because I didn't print it off for you tonight. So you guys met on July 26th. Meeting was called to order 6:10. Committee started right in with discussing amendments to the emergency plan. Lots of headway was made. Chris will take the recommendations and continue revising. The clerk will bring the bylaw 05-2014, a bylaw to establish a community emergency plan, to the governance committee with suggestions to make the bylaw and the plan in sync. And once the revisions to the plan are completed, we'll forward the plan off to Dan DeCleva for his thoughts and suggestions. So this afternoon I did provide you with the bylaw drafts that did go to council, and also for the emergency measures plan. And I want to say thank you to Chris and Ross and the rest of you guys while I was out for spearheading this and getting this plan done. There's tons of blue marks.
But you know, really, if you look back at the history of it, I mean, you guys, before we even went in, had done all the work, the framework was all there. We knew it needed to be freshened up, but you know, we didn't realize there was that much freshening up, but once we get into it, we realized that, I mean, you guys can take credit for providing the framework for it.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Sorry,
No problem.
I was daydreaming on the kitchen table.
Oh.
I looked up and it said 5:48 and I went, oh my God.
No problem. So I was just saying, Susan, that I sent out an email earlier this afternoon just with the draft bylaw that just went to council with the amendments, and also your emergency plan. This was the latest edition.
I did
So
get it then. I got something from you printed off. I thought it was earlier.
yeah, so we'll just review those, and then if you guys have any questions or whatever, you can email them, and then we'll bring them back for the next meeting. So the next thing, while I was off, everything seemed to be flooding and fires and everything else. So I thought that it would be a good time for us, especially going into hurricane season, and there seems to be 4 hurricanes down there brewing, that we should put out 72-hour preparedness things. So in your agenda package, I did up 2 sheets. I think that we should put them on our website and social media. It's just something that people can kind of tick off. And so one was items to gather. So I've got, like, this is for evacuations. So if you are only given a 15-minute warning, kind of the items that you should grab. If you have a 30-minute warning, take all of your 15 minutes plus the following items. Then if you had like 1 hour or 2 hours plus a warning. So it's just kind of a checklist, because many times when your head is all askew when an emergency actually happens. So if people have these like on their fridge or something, it might be something they can just grab and say, here kids, go grab this, and somebody else grab something else. So the next page was food for thought, so supplies for 72 hours. So I just wrote down some food items that you could have. Then your essentials. So I read through FEMA that's the emergency organization in the States, they are actually recommending 4 liters of water minimum per person, because they said you need your drinking water plus your cooking water. So, excuse me, they're recommending actually 4 liters. So I put that down. Excuse me, I'm not used to talking in a meeting. Then I put miscellaneous items, and then I did one on car items. So also under the FEMA, they had given a tip where you freeze a cup of water, keep it in your fridge, put a coin on top of it. Then if the power is out, or if you've had the evacuation, if you come back, if a coin is still on top of your frozen water, you know that everything in your freezer is good. If it has gone to the bottom, then you know that everything is thawed and then possibly frozen again. So it's a good way to check to make sure that your food is still good in your freezer. So I put that actually on the bottom of that food for thought list. So I think we should put this out on our social media. Maybe we could have some copies printed off in case anybody comes in and asks for a copy, but we'll try to push so that people have these printed off at home so that they can have them.
Okay.
I think we covered pretty well everything on those lists. I did see one good thing that they were saying that if you didn't happen to have paper plates and cups, to use your own dishes while you're home, but cover them in saran wrap
So, yeah.
or whatever, and that way you're not washing dishes as much. Then once you finish eating, you can just take off the saran wrap and then just throw it in the garbage, kind of thing, like if the power's out and stuff.
Oh,
So
like eat off the saran.
yeah, and I was like, what a great idea, actually. Even if
I might adopt that full time.
it really, I don't know if you had to cut into something, how well it would, but I mean, definitely would save on some food being on your
Yep.
dishes, like when you're
If you have no
short
water.
supplies, yeah. And another thought, something I never thought of, they were saying to make sure that you have a couple of buckets on hand, because you can always collect water and stuff, like if it was raining and stuff like that. So that
We
was,
did that anyway. 'Cause having a house with when the power goes out, you don't have any water. We always did that anyway. Just if you want to flush the toilet, you have to have water.
yeah,
You might want to mention, if you have time ahead of a storm or an event where the power's going to go out, fill your bathtub with water.
yeah,
And
I
then with
always,
the bucket, you can flush your toilets, or you have some water to
Yeah.
yeah.
wash with, or a little bit.
Yeah, I
It's
always
easy to
did
do,
that
and
too.
doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, as soon as I see a thunderstorm or anything that I think that their power might be going off,
Fill the tub.
Fill the tub.
yeah. So anybody have any questions on those 2 items? The fires and the flooding are so scary. The mudslides in California and stuff, did you see those? Like they're just walking around, and like we're so fortunate. The next item is ICS 200. Both of you guys did the BEM and the 100 course, didn't you?
We were going to,
I
but
did an ICS course, was
Yeah,
it
but-
possibly
Yeah.
the 100?
Yeah.
I can't
he
remember.
said we were going to do it all together as a group to make it easier. So but I can finish it. I started it.
Because they are offering on September 21st and 22nd the ICS 200.
Okay.
And I am going to take it because it's been a while since I have actually taken my EMO courses. So I'm going to take this 200. So when I was talking to Dan today, he said that it definitely would benefit me to understand structure of emergency operations during large-scale events. And we do have to have the ICS 100 completed before taking the 200. They have 13 seats left. Do you guys want to attend? It's a 2-day course.
Like where it'll be at?
It's going to be downtown Fredericton. It's on September 21st. You can think about it, check your calendars or whatever, and let me know tomorrow, and then I'll register.
Is it a full day?
I believe so. It's going to be 2 full days.
Is that a weekday or weekend, or what's?
I think it's a weekday for sure.
I would have to think it's a weekday.
September,
21st and
That's on a
22nd.
Thursday.
it's a Thursday, Friday.
Okay, put me down, the government lets us take a vacation day if we volunteer somewhere, so I think I can.
Okay.
I've got 30 hours in lieu of time, so.
Okay, so then he also suggested the ICS 402 might benefit us as well. He said this is the Incident Command System for Executives, introduces the Incident Command System, the ICS, provides the foundation for executive understanding and participation. This course describes the history, features, and principles and organizational structures of the ICS system, including the relationship between the commanders and the executives. And it's so that we'll kind of understand everything that happens. And he is willing to come here and provide that to us. So I think we will definitely take him up on that one. Any training that we can kind of get in-house that we can all do as a group, I think would be very beneficial. So yeah, if you guys can just let me know, and maybe we should, because Ross did the training as
I'm not sure if Ross did.
finished it.
I'm not sure on that.
Okay. I think
He may
I
have-
think he finished it, but we'll send him a message and see if he wants to do the training on that.
So you say that 402 will be after,
Yeah.
of course, you have to take the 200 to get to the 402.
I don't know if you have to do that. It's just that is what Dan will come in
Okay,
and
but it
do.
will be
So
after that date in September.
Yeah.
Okay.
so yeah, you guys could just let me know and we'll get that registered. But where they've only got 13 seats left,
Well,
we
that's
should
it.
probably.
Put me down. I'll have the 100 finished by then.
Okay. Perfect. So, was there any questions on? I guess we can kind of backtrack because that's all that I actually.
And Dan is not going to be able to make it tonight.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, so.
Next month, I guess.
Yes. So I have him booked for next month. I was talking to him and he apologized for not being able to come, but he said that he will come for our next meeting in September. So.
Were you able to kind of quickly review the bylaw changes? Did
Yeah.
I miss anything?
No, I think you're right on. I assume you've got that all figured out, but what it did do is it affected the plan a little bit. There's just some tweaks we have to make now because.
I thought I was tweaking the bylaw to the plan.
No,
I was not.
We'll tweak to your bylaw.
Okay.
That's the bylaw, so we have to follow that.
Yeah.
So, but there was just a couple of things that was, in the powers was one thing. Down
Okay.
at the bottom, I think we mentioned during our meeting that there was a reference to the EOC director before. And so we were confused by that because it was the only time it was used in the document.
So I think we removed it, didn't we?
And so we changed it to EM coordinator. But actually now I realize that you mean the N New Brunswick
Director, like is in
EOC
Dan.
direct, like Dan. So anyway, that's an easy fix. I mean, we can go back and catch that up. There wasn't much else. I noticed that you use a small case C. It's a small thing, but you use a small case C when you mention council in
Yep.
the document.
Yep.
So I think we gotta go through our document and clean that up.
The only time you use council as a capital is if you say Hanwell Council. If you're just saying,
Animal council is a big
as
city?
like a,
Title.
there's a title.
Okay, good.
So when it's just when you're talking, when council, then council's a small
Yeah.
c, and mayor's a small c, and yeah.
I think it says the council, the mayor and council, it's just one line, I think. But in ours, we get every councillor listed. Do we need every councillor to sign this?
That I don't, like, because when we do, like, for example, like when we do bylaws and stuff, it's only the mayor. The mayor and the clerk that signs
Yeah.
the bylaws, right?
Right.
So it's not every council votes,
Yeah.
votes it through, and that's kind of their signature, I guess. So I don't know if we do.
I would say probably
It
not.
looks like it would date it, because those names are gonna change over time. There might not be a new plan for 10 years, and it just looks dated if you leave.
Right.
But if you just say mayor and council, or mayor, whatever, it doesn't look so dated.
I think we could do that, couldn't we?
I think that the mayor and the clerk.
Yeah, mayor and the clerk, yeah.
So the mayor and the clerk.
Yes.
Be the ones that sign.
Yeah,
So I can touch those things up.
that's on page 6.
I looked like 3 times. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I think it just needs to be approved by the EM coordinator, the clerk, and the mayor. And then MB EMO coordinator, which would be Dan, right?
Just remove the councillors.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because really they don't have signing authority.
No, exactly.
The, okay.
So you're keeping the deputy mayor?
No.
That, I can touch those things up. We'll make a new version of it, and we can have that freshened up for when Dan comes.
Perfect. And I see you got the pictures.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks
Perfect.
for that. There's another thing that I noticed, I was just looking at the Hanwell website, because we spent so much time thinking about the business directory and how we're gonna do that, and then we decided we don't really need that great big long directory. We've got access to the Ignite information. But I also noticed on the Hanwell website, you guys have a business directory there, so and there's even another layer of
Yeah.
Yeah.
access
That
to
dir-
Hanwell businesses.
That directory's hard because we rely on the businesses to bring us the information.
Okay.
I find it's probably seriously it's outdated.
So that's not really relevant.
No, and I'm wondering if maybe we shouldn't even
Have it there.
have it there, because the way it's connected, when somebody thinks that they are contacting that business, it is actually coming into us for some reason. It's not actually going to their
You mean if they
email.
If they hyperlink on it, you mean? Or-
I'm not sure what people do, but we get tons of them, and it's like, I was just wondering if I could have an oil change this week, or, you know.
It's very
like-
strange. So then we're constantly responding to people's questions because you don't leave them hanging. No, you contact municipal office, please contact the person directly, but.
And they're like, well, we got it off of your directory kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that there's something that's not
Sure.
working
But it's
there.
outdated, and businesses are supposed to let us know when they close, but I mean, they just, they don't think about it. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's businesses on that directory that
Yeah, maybe it's not relevant.
I just wonder
There's
if
a
it's
few
maybe.
things on the website that need to be freshened up.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're working on that.
And we're working on that.
Yeah.
It's, like even the map of the ward map.
We need a ward map of all of them.
Isn't even freshened up for Ward 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I actually have, the city of Fredericton had maps done with all the different areas and stuff. So they did up a map for us, like a big map, which is going to be great for any emergencies and stuff that we have as well. So I've got to go downtown and pick that up.
Maybe they can
Whatever,
post a
so-
link that we can
Yeah,
upload it to the website so we can have a picture
yeah.
with a ward map.
Where was this picture of the fire? Do you know? It said CBC photo, but Do you know where this was?
There's quite a few CBC photos on their fire, so I just, we could change that for, if
No.
somebody's got a better one.
Oh, no,
I think
no.
it's fine.
Because actually pretty, as pretty as a fire can be, but it was a pretty picture.
I think the photos are
We still
fine.
got mixed feelings about that appendix, or that section 3, which is specific plans, and how much value it's actually adding. We can over time maybe build on that or another, but we just couldn't find any more meat to put to it. And
It's kind of just a good checklist
Yeah.
of,
it pared down a lot from what it was, because a lot of the information is captured in the first page of Part 3.
It was duplicate, there was a lot of
So
duplication
we
and stuff.
just reduced a lot of duplication, but, there's some things in there. Like especially with the maybe a road accident with a chemical spill, there's some different things have to happen there in terms of contacting, certain agencies and stuff.
Yeah, and it wouldn't even be us, it would be the fire department anyway.
Right.
It wouldn't be us, we wouldn't be touching that.
Yeah,
The fire
that's
department.
yeah, would be more of just the backup
Yeah.
for them.
We might have to put out a post, avoid the area or something like that.
I did learn something yesterday, just by chance. I was at another meeting with Walter Bidley.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so he mentioned that they're working on an emergency plan out there for the Yoho area. I said, that's interesting, because we're just putting the final touches on one for the community.
Yes, so they have been in contact with me, and Walter and I'm actually going to go and have a meeting with the folks in Yoho. So they are kind of doing an emergency plan that if we have an emergency in Hanwell, because that the Scout Lodge, we have an agreement that that's going to be a warming shelter. So they are going to do an emergency plan that if I called them and said, we need you, then they can grab their plan and say, okay, this is what all the steps that we need to take. So Sean Haley contacted me a couple of weeks ago, and a few years ago I provided them with a whole bunch of lists that I did, and like a warming shelter schedule and shift changes and different things that they would have to do. So I supplied all of those again. And we had done a checklist of things for inventory, because we were wondering, like, if the lake is frozen, if people had snowmobiles, that if the road was closed, that we could get them across the lake and different things in the summertime, who had boats and stuff like that. So they're going to update that list. So I think what they plan on doing, they're going to have a I think their general meeting actually was the other night, but they're going to have a meeting and do up some packets or whatever and give to all the residents. So I think this is going to be kind of part of that emergency plan. But I told them that once they got established, then I will go and have a meeting with them or with the residents out there to kind of give them ideas of what we are doing. And because I think there was some confusion, I think some people were concerned that they had to have this emergency plan, because if there was, we'll say, fire, because that is their concern out there, like what was going to happen to them. And then they wanted to know what we were going to do. Well, if there's a fire in Yoho and there's one way in and one way out, it's going to take higher powers than our committee, kind of thing. So I think that once they kind of understood that it's not going to be just us around the table that is going to be dealing with this. So we will be having meetings in the future, and I think once they appoint and get their committee established, I said it might not be a bad idea to have somebody from their committee actually sit on our
It would be a good
committee
idea.
kind of thing. So and trying to convince either possibly Walter Bidlake or Sean Haley and stuff to possibly sit on our committee, because Sean did come for a few meetings before, but I think it would be great if we can have them attend as well, so we can all work together and know what's going on. But yeah, I think the residents out there have great concerns of fire, and
With
only the one,
With one entrance in and out, it's,
it's
Yeah.
scary.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like down in Nova Scotia, that community, it's same thing happened, and it's just one of those things that you never think is going to, but,
And that was my family that was stuck on the other side.
oh really?
My mother, my uncle, aunt, cousins, they were quite far away from the fire for danger of burning their homes and stuff, but the highway, the fire jumped it and cut them off, so they had to evacuate them. So for a whole 7 or 8 days.
Wow.
But
Yeah, there's
they weren't in danger of, that, it was just they couldn't get out if they had to.
Yeah. And if everything happens so quickly, like that's what,
There's gonna be some reviews coming out of those disasters.
I hope so, yeah.
That should be helpful to all of us.
yeah,
And one of them is the alerting process.
absolutely.
It didn't work very well down there at all. And anyway, hopefully, there will be some lessons learned from
Yeah.
some of that stuff.
Yeah, even the flooding when those children were,
Yeah.
the alerting system, they said that
Yeah.
the mother said that she definitely feels that it was a failed system, so. And I think everybody got signed up for the Voyant, for the new alerting system. That is something else. We'll do that before our next EMO committee. We're going to do up a page and take it over to the school, correct? For the
We have to, yeah, because we did the page in, was it June?
I believe so, when we switched over from Sentinel to
So it was
Voyant.
June 1st, right? So I think that first week of June, we sent over 450 flyers and we had 100 sign up. So we'll do it again for September, for it to go in the backpacks the first day of school, and kind of the same, and we'll do it for George Street, Kings Clear.
What about FHS?
No. Because it's too, FHS couldn't do that because they're not gonna be able to single out
Yeah, they don't.
Hanwell.
students are in Hamwell, because it's a feeder school. Same thing with George Street, a feeder school, and Garden Creek, a feeder school. However, Kings Clear and here are just our residents, so we'll send them to those two schools. So you'll have to email Kings Clear to find out how many students they have, so we can do flyers for them as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if maybe what we should do, remember a couple of years ago, we bought the package, I think it was like a duffel bag, and it was like I think that was a 72-hour duffel bag. They were, I think, a couple $100 or something, and we did a draw of the new people that had signed up and stuff like that. So maybe that is something that we can do again to encourage people to do it and have the draw or whatever. So
Do you get any more people asking or signing up, or is it coming
The
little
only-
bunches when something like that's offered?
The only way I know is if I go on and check. Like, I can go on and check and I can see how many new people have joined. I haven't done it in a couple weeks. The only way people are gonna join is if we're constantly putting it out there. Like, we have to constantly, like, when somebody new comes in, Megan has it's a welcome to Hamwell bag. So anybody that moves into Hamwell, so I'm hoping that people in Island View will understand, like, if anybody that moves in, tell them to come and get a bag. It's got everything. It's got the emergency stuff. It's got Buoyant. It's got, all of the garbage pickups, all that stuff. So people are aware of
And
what's
then the
going on in
contact
Hamwell.
list too,
Contact list of anybody you need to contact. So unless, it's just something we're gonna have to constantly be, like every, you know, couple of weeks, every month, post it out, get people to share it.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, it's gotta be something fresh in their minds.
yeah.
And then maybe they'll, oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not just with this new system, it's not just the emergency alerts, like they can
It's
sign up
everything.
for.
We can alert anything. We can alert
Anything.
anything, yeah.
So,
So it'll be, I think you're gonna
School
find in
bus.
school when it starts.
Yep.
If we start posting, like, if the principal will give us the information, we can start posting, like, you know, if there's a school cancellation, or if there's,
Buses,
You know.
late buses.
yeah,
Late
something like that.
buses and- yeah.
Because I haven't seen any alerts come up since I joined
There hasn't really been anything to
alert.
yeah.
alert, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, good, maybe, for the next meeting, we can, look to see how many people
I
that
can
we
check.
actually have signed up.
Yeah.
Be interesting to have kind of our base number, and then once we put out those flyers for the first day of school and see what we have.
Yeah.
I do know we get around
Afterwards.
100 from that last mail out.
And everybody that was on there previously on Sentinel got transferred over.
Automatically transferred.
They still had to register.
They had to register, but they were
transferred.
transferred. So what
Yeah.
happened was they got transferred, and then we did the post.
Yep.
Letting people know that you have to now go on and register. Like your everything's moved, but you still have to go on and register because you have to say what you want, right? I want these alerts.
Okay. Wonderful. So that is all that I had. I'm sorry it's such a short meeting or whatever. Was there anything that,
Apologize for a short
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything?
was there anything that you guys,
I'm gonna touch the plan out, the draft plan, I'll send it around to everybody, it's just some minor touch-ups, what we talked about and stuff, so.
sure. And if anybody has any more questions after you've reviewed that email that I sent out to you today or whatever, just let us know and we'll make changes for our next meeting. So our next meeting is September 28th, I believe.
I just had one comment on the
27.
bylaw.
Yep.
In section 3A, where you mention CAO,
Yep.
could we spell out what CAO is and then just put CAO in brackets after that? And then if you use it anywhere after in the
Yep.
document, CAO is
So that's the
fine.
definitions part.
No,
No,
you can do it in the definitions part.
We'll do it in the definitions part.
If you want,
Yeah.
either way, but
Because is there a CAO definition in there?
no,
No.
no.
So there there should be a CAO definition in there anyway. So we'll do that.
Okay, I would just add it to the definition.
Yep.
Perfect,
Easy.
yep.
That's a good point.
I hate seeing acronyms used and
And they
not
don't,
being
yeah.
spelled out.
So
Yeah.
people know.
You always spell them out first and then you put them in brackets so you know going forward.
Right, then going forward, you can use them.
That can be that's easily fixed.
Yes.
Wonderful. So next meeting was what, the
The
27th?
27th. Mm-hmm.
And we will have
Did you
Dan,
think 27?
Is that 27th a Wednesday?
I thought it was
I thought it was the 28th.
No, I just checked. It's
27th is Wednesday.
Isn't it the 3rd or is it the 4th?
Fourth.
It's the 4th.
Third Wednesday's council meeting.
Okay, that's great.
27.
So 6:40, we will adjourn this meeting.